Hello, bienvenue! I'm Jaden, and welcome to my channel. It's the holiday season, and while I'm not a big fan of Christmas, it is the time of year where we get a lot of great television. Why? Because holiday specials are just kind of awesome.
It's a Wonderful Life will not be seen this year. In its place is the following.
First up, we have Christmas with the Joker from Batman the Animated Series. Now, not only is Batman the Animated Series one of the best representations of Batman I have ever seen on screen, but it's also one of the best animated series of all time. And this is in part to the creators behind the show and how it was put together and the perfection of the voice acting involved. I mean, Mark Hamill as the Joker is absolute perfection. Plus, Kevin Conroy is an amazing Batman, and anyone who has ever played Batman since can only hope to live up to the standard that he set. But Christmas with the Joker is this introduction into the Joker's absolute insanity and obsession with Batman. Plus, it's where we get that infamous song of Jingle Bells, Batman Smells. Yeah, you wondered where that came from? That's this show. But not only do you have Batman and Robin chasing after the Joker, but you have these integral family moments of Bruce just spending time with Dick and Alfred at home and showing that side of his humanity. I mean, we're all so focused on Batman, who is the knight and all of this, but we forget that he is also a person too, as much as he would love for us to actually forget that he is a human being. We all know that Bruce is Batman at all times, but it's so nice to see this representation of this genuine human emotion that we often forget about and is definitely ignored in more modern comics. If you've never seen Batman the Animated Series, first of all, what are you waiting for? Please go do that. You will not be sorry. And second of all, it's the holidays. This is a great episode to go and watch because it's super, super fun. Another one of my favorite Christmas episodes has to come from Community. I absolutely adore Community. The humor and the genius behind that show tops so many other television shows. Community has a lot of different Christmas episodes. I think they actually have one for every single season. I'd have to go back and look at that. I mean, we have Abed's Uncontrollable Christmas, which is stop-motion animation and is absolutely superb. And of course, you can't go wrong with this classic.
Please, it's Christmas. It's December 10th. Oh.
Community has spawned so many different memes that it's hard to ignore it on the internet. But regional holiday music might be my absolute favorite Community episode, especially the Christmas episodes, simply because of the sheer ridiculousness of the entire scenario. That, and it trolls Glee hard. Plus, it may be the first time we've ever heard Donald Glover rapping. That's long before Childish Gambino ever hit the stage. Even the overly sexualized Annie number is absolutely hilarious, simply because it's mocking that obsession that we seem to have with the dumbed down, overly hot girl trope. It's so funny because throughout the entire number, she's just getting stupider and stupider, and by the end of it, she can't even form a coherent sentence. But really, what it boils down to is this.
Boopy doopy doop boop sex.
Community. Community is one of those shows that you need to watch because the humor is so on point. If you don't know, it's from the same creator as Rick and Morty, so you can imagine it's pretty up there. So this holiday season, if you need something to watch, go through any one of their Christmas episodes and you will not regret it. The Office is one of those shows that was just a phenomenon that swept the world. Every season, I think, has its own Christmas episode as well, and there are so many good ones, because each of them is equally ridiculous. My favorite might be Moroccan Christmas, though, simply because we have that horrifying, awkward moment of Michael dragging Meredith into rehab. I mean, she's absolutely kicking and screaming and fighting tooth and nail, and in the end, they can't do anything about it anyway. Plus, you have the entire scenario of Phyllis actually having one up on Angela for once, and she spends the episode bossing her around, making her do more and more ridiculous things until Angela finally snaps. Except Phyllis is holding that one key piece of information over her head. And Angela decides to call her bluff. Well, guess what? Phyllis decided to fuck you over in the end. And we end up at the end of the episode with that so awkward, so horrifying, like it's painful to watch. Just Andy sitting there playing the sitar while the entire office knows that Angela and Dwight have been fucking behind his back. Yeah, that was painful. So if you haven't watched The Office, and I don't know why you wouldn't have watched The Office by now, this is a great Christmas episode to watch. Any of the Christmas episodes are just as ridiculous as any of the other episodes in the entire series. So go watch it. Malcolm in the Middle is one of those shows that just does not get enough love. I don't understand why. This was probably my favorite show growing up. I watched it constantly. I mean, it takes dysfunction to the next logical step in its absolute ridiculousness. Plus, we have Bryan Cranston, and who doesn't love Bryan Cranston? If you don't like Bryan Cranston, get out. Just get out, okay? This show showcased his talent so well, and it really set him on a path to go places, and let me tell you, he did. Hal was, and still is, my favorite character in this entire show. It took 3 seasons to get a Christmas episode, which seems like a long time coming. It's something that definitely should have happened a long time ago, because holidays just are dysfunction, and if this family is anything, it's dysfunctional.
This is supposed to be a happy time!
So it starts out with the kids having an ornament fight, and who as a kid did not want to huck ornaments at their brothers or sisters? It's like an indoor snowball fight, except with a lot more danger. But what ends up happening is the mom cancels Christmas. Like, absolutely goes on a rampage and cancels Christmas. Lois is famous for losing her temper, but this was a whole new level. And at the same time, you felt for her. You felt for every ounce of anger and rage she felt towards her children, because her children, they're little monsters. The best part of this episode may be the fact that Francis was forced to spend Christmas with his grandmother. And his grandmother just happens to be the worst person in the world. I'm not even hyperbolizing that. Like, she literally is the worst person in the world. And she's played by Cloris Leachman, and I love that woman. Like, I absolutely love that woman. She's up there with Betty White for me. And Betty White actually appeared in this series as well. So, blessed all around here. I don't know if you've ever watched Malcolm in the Middle. If you've never watched Malcolm in the Middle, please do. Please do, because it was an amazing show for the time that it was on. And this Christmas episode, well, it definitely stands out. Supernatural has never been big on holiday specials. They ran 15 years, and honestly, you can count the number of holiday specials they have on one hand. I don't even think it fills up an entire hand. But they did have a Christmas special, and you'd think with Supernatural being monsters and ghosts and ghouls that maybe they would have taken on Krampus, but no, they didn't take on Krampus. In true Supernatural fashion, they decided to up the ante a bit, and they took on pagan gods. I mean, this really set the stage for future, because it introduced the concept of gods, and the fact that the entire final season, they decided to kill God. But it was also super disturbing and super gross, and it made me so incredibly uncomfortable. I mean, I absolutely hate the moment that one of the gods has pliers in Dean's mouth ready to rip out his tooth. Like, that's one of my things. Like, I can't even, okay? You don't understand, I just can't. But what else I loved about this episode is the fact that we got to see the brothers' past. We got to see their past Christmases and how they interacted and how they grew up together. And we finally see that moment where Dean became more important to Sam than their own father. And in the end, when their father let them down, which Dean predicted and knew would happen, Sam gave the present that he had planned to give to their father to Dean, which is the amulet that you always see Dean wearing. And it's just beautiful. If you haven't seen Supernatural, and I assume at this point most people have at least seen 1 or 2 episodes, because 15 years, and how could you not have? This is definitely a good episode to watch. It's creepy and horrifying, but it's also heartfelt at the same time, which I think is a good representation of what Supernatural was. Third Rock from the Sun. Third Rock from the Sun is probably one of these shows that most people forgot even existed. And I don't know how you can have forgotten, because it is one of the funniest shows on television. Take the concept of a group of aliens trying to assimilate into human life to study us, and then throw in holidays into the mix. And what do you get? You got this huge recipe for a delicious disaster, and oh boy. Plus you have baby-faced Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and he is so adorable. I want to pinch his cheeks so badly because he's so cute in this. The comedy in this is gold. It's everything that you would expect out of somebody learning about Christmas for the first time and not really understanding what's so great about it, which is something I don't quite understand myself.
Who needs Christmas anyway? I say bug humbar.
Third Rock from the Sun. I grew up on Third Rock from the Sun, and it's still one of my favorite television shows to this day. And this Christmas episode, well, you just need to see it for yourself. So that's it for this time, guys. What is your favorite Christmas episode? There are literally hundreds of Christmas episodes out there, so I'm sure you guys got some good ones. But until next time, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Cheers!